Glad to have you all back with us at Wild and Free Interior Alaska. It's definitely fall. Granted, you are seeing this while now there is some snow on the ground. However, this was August 29th that we were heading out here, and what did we run into? Snow. Snow. And if you've been following, we've been really busy building our multi-use shed off-grid in remote interior Alaska. Thanks for following along. We're going to be showing you the final touches of the exterior, not necessarily having beat the snow, but it's okay. We persevered and made it through anyways, and that way we've got it closed up so we can work on the inside over winter. In just a moment, you'll see it goes from fall to winter fast. Alright, well, we were saying, I don't know if there will be caribou, but as you can see through the fog, very difficult, but there is a little herd and it's snowing right now. Super hard to see them because the fog is so thick. As you can see, it was hard for us to see them, but they are there and there is snow. I'm going to let you see snow. It is August 28th and snow. Oh, 29th, August 29th. Here's huge. Wait, let me turn it up. There's an absolute monster of a bull.
Huge. He can barely walk.
There he is.
Back.
Look at him back there. Oh, you guys can see him better now.
There's a baby one.
I know, they're so cute. Look at that big guy. And it's snowing pretty good right now.
There's two different ones.
August 29th, and it's snowing at the cabin. I know it's hard to see. It switches between rain and snow. It's chilly and it's miserable. And we're sick. Yay! You can kind of see better from here. The snow that is falling down. It's pretty chilly out there. August 29th. I guess we didn't officially beat the snow, finishing our shed, and it looks like we will be installing the chimney probably in snow. However, that's all right. You know, we'll make the best of it. We knew that it wouldn't be far off. It's beautiful fall colors, but also beautifully snowy out here. I know it's gonna be October when you see this, which by then we'll maybe be lucky enough to be making it back out here with significant snowfall. But snow does start early here, and the race has been on, and officially the snow beat us. It really did. Hopefully you can see this. Obviously the fog has rolled back in and it's still snowing. Yes, snowflakes are in fact falling, blowing all over. It was just raining right before this and it's cold and like ice. So that's pretty neat. It's gonna be an interesting time out here working on this building. Look at, you can actually see the snow on the ground. Yeah, so it's gonna be a chilly day tomorrow working, that's for sure. We did a little sneak peek of
after staining our cabin of starting on our foundation. And one of our YouTube followers was a good Samaritan and pointed out the fact that we did our blocks the wrong way. Now, I will take responsibility. I did have my father-in-law take the lead on figuring out how many, where we need to place them, spacing, materials, etc. And I thought that maybe we'd had them sideways, but I questioned it, but I didn't really stop and question it. And then we were just on a roll and didn't go back to research anything. So we just went with it. So here we are now, the whole building, exterior-wise done. But luckily, someone pointed this out now, before it was too late, and we started loading up the inside, building a loft and everything else and making it heavier, that we were able to start jacking it up and swapping them all the correct orientation so that they could bear the weight better. It is chilly. We had snow last night, so we did not, in fact, beat the snow with this build, but we're pretty dang close, and I'm proud of that. Our ground is not frozen yet. Sometimes that's more helpful when we're jacking up, but these logs seem like they worked pretty well, right?
Yep.
So he was able to get it jacked up just fine to work on that section, and we'll just keep working our way around. I feel like with it being a little colder, the hydraulics are probably not as favorable for us on the jack, but be a little iffy. But we're gonna continue with this before we finish all of the finishing work on the exterior of the building. I dreaded this task, but honestly, he's done all the work. He's been owning it out here while I've been getting other things together, so I haven't helped him at all. And I thought this was gonna be an absolute pain in the butt, but here he is, just making it happen, making it look easy peasy.
I've jacked up a cabin once or twice before.
He has, in fact, jacked up the cabin. What are you gonna do about the middle one under there? We're just gonna forget about that one. The majority of the issues are gonna be solved, so we're good with that. We are good with that.
Here, check that.
Luckily, this went way smoother than I anticipated. Thanks for the YouTube follower for pointing this out. Learn from our mistakes, make sure they're correct the first time around, or fix your mistakes. It's okay.
Well, I don't know if you saw any of that was just accomplished, but we have finished the job. We have rotated them all. We have put them back where they were, just in the correct orientation. So, job well done. Didn't really take any time at all. So, glad that someone pointed it out and we were able to fix our mistakes before we add more weight onto this building.
In the last episode, we got the doors on, and we mentioned that we are going to have them overhang the bottom to keep the snow out so that it doesn't get stuck in that groove. So now we are cutting them at the proper height. My husband drew a beautiful line, and he's going to follow it and cut it so that they will be even with each other, not too overly long, but long enough to cover the edge of the foundation so that snow and ice isn't, in theory, getting trapped in there where it ices over with the building warming and freezing again, to make this so that we wouldn't be able to get in there. So all of these measures are, in theory, to prevent this door from getting stuck so that we can open it in the future after we dig our way out, of course. I'm not sure that we're going to have time to build a ramp to get in there with our snow machines, so quite honestly, we'll probably just wait until the snow piles up and we pack it down and make a nice snow ramp in there, since we won't be getting out there until there is plenty of snowfall, and sooner rather than later, that snow is going to be higher than the door anyways, and we're just going to have to keep maintaining it and shoveling it as it is. So we might as well work a little bit smarter instead of harder at this stage in our build and use the snow to our advantage for our ramp before we can get something built next year. Or maybe we don't. Maybe it works out really well. Time will certainly tell. But now our door is cut. It's got a beautiful little lip at the bottom. It closes. Job well done.
Because you're lying.
Good enough for me, though.
Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's good. Alright. Yep. Okay, that part's done. Now, are we on the trim or the back? Good boy. You're ripping out our roots for us. Good job. Whatever you want to do. You choose.
Start with the trim, I guess.
Okay. Trim it is. We decided we would work on the trim first. Should be a pretty quick, easy job, I think. But time will tell.
The trim wasn't too challenging, but of course the side that we started with, we had to end up cutting the siding. It was just a little long on the edge, and we knew that when we placed it, so we cut all along it to make it so that it was flush as the edges came together, so that we could put up the trim and they could butt up against each other nicely. We're just using our nail gun, simply measuring, cutting, nailing, voila, bam, it's done. Nice and simple like we hoped, and hopefully the rest are even smoother as we make our way around. Yeah, our building wasn't perfectly square, and as we mentioned, it's gonna shift and move anyways over time, and it was ever so slightly off. So when we were installing the siding, it started to run upwards. We just went with it, and then in the end, we just made up for it by adding some scrap pieces that we found left over from the siding. Ended up working out perfectly where we could put them together. They'd line up perfectly with the ones above, and we really only added that to cover the tiny little piece of the plywood floor that was visible so that if snow gets up there and moisture, it's not getting into that plywood, it's the siding and the pressure treated foundation instead that it's coming into contact with rather than the plywood. Of course, it also gave it a way more finished look, and it was really a quick, simple step to take. I'm glad that we did it, even though we were like, meh, honestly, does it really matter? Maybe, but taking the few extra moments to find some scrap pieces, put them together, and get that done was definitely worth it. Now that that was done, we could finally put on that last piece of trim. So, as I said, things would go smoother. It was just really important that we addressed that before we started to add trim throughout that entire side there, from that edge and then the trim that we'll work on around the door and the window as well. One edge is done with the trim along the front. Now we're gonna basically just repeat exactly what we did and move it along. But we did realize that we need to fill in the top first, so we left some space so that we could run a piece of trim from that top edge to the bottom edge as well, and we'll fill all that in after the fact. We followed the same idea on the back half as well. Once the back half was done, we then moved up to the top. Maybe we should have started there, but it's okay. We ended up running that piece of trim all the way along to the backside, and then we cut after measuring a very specific tiny little piece with the correct angle to fill in that little gap at the top between that top piece of trim and the vertical one that we had just placed along that edge. So once we got that perfect and fit nice and tight, we ended up screwing it in because it was such a small piece, the nail gun kept breaking it. So, lessons learned. Stop messing around with that. Just go straight for a screw. Who's going to see it up there anyways? Can you even notice? No, you really can't. But now that we got it in, we cut that angle for the back one, I was doing that to the best of my ability, making all of the adjustments that it was just a little bit long and a little bit long and a little bit long until it fit nice and snug. It was kind of hard to get a good guess as to how long it should be without getting it too short. So, bam, done. Got it nice and set. We're turning this relatively not so great looking multi-use shed into a slightly more finished looking shed in the end. It's not like we're going to be living in it. Well, if you are extra guest here staying at our off-grid property, which honestly is just a few family members and some friends, this would be an overflow area for you to have your own space to sleep in. But for that, I think it'll look good enough. And eventually, next year, maybe we'll even add some paint and make it even prettier. Naturally, of course, we started on the side with the door that you will actually see from our cabin that you will walk up to and approach. Why we started there when we were figuring this out is beyond me, but it seems to be a trend with how we end up doing things. So, of course, we experimented there, we perfected it, and realized that if we start with that top piece of trim and work our way down, it might be a little less obvious that we've kind of patched things together to fill in the gap, but who's going to notice anyways? So we basically repeated it, except we improved it. And this side is looking mighty fine. We added that trim, we cut it to the correct angle, and then we cut that one long piece and attached it, and then just filled in the bottom with a few little pieces. Could you really notice that we kind of pieced it together at the front when you were looking? Do you think this side looks better? Honestly, it probably does. So we finished going along the side with our trim pieces all the way to the bottom and then worked around that very last front edge before we moved on to the doors and windows.
The trim is on around the edges as far as we're concerned. We do need to trim the windows and the doors now, but we are running very low on trim boards, so we'll see what we can get. That's not the hardest thing to finish later and bring back out, so not the biggest deal if we can't get to it because we run out of supplies. But it's looking better. We'll figure it out around our door and window here, and our other door. Probably save the window over here on the left for last. No one will really see it, so we can just come out and put some on later. And it's clearing up a little, so you can see the snow on the mountain through the fog. It'd be really nice if we get some blue skies today. Well, our issue is that we're left with those two pieces. We have scraps we can put around the window. But even these two pieces, I don't know if it made more sense with our awkward thing. I think that they had figured the 2 3-inch pieces together on this side. Because, yeah, alright. This will work probably above the big door over there.
Okay.
And probably put a big piece over this just to use it or something. I guess I'll go see what we've got under the cabin. I think we have like 3 pieces. We'll get one step closer. Luckily, I found several trim boards underneath our cabin that I think will allow us to finish trimming this out. So hopefully we can get the job done. Did the 2 side by side fit much better?
Yes. However, it's going to get interesting because they're
Around the
not going
door.
to be level. Well, actually, yeah, they will be. Maybe. Well, I don't know.
Oh, well, if we do it to here, then the one that goes across the door. Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
but
about?
I'm saying,
Oh,
like,
because
one,
of this.
where are
Yeah.
you going to attach this to?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, this guy's gonna go somewhere around here, and we can do it in line with that. So
We'll do the top one first.
probably. Do you want me to see if one of these other ones is short enough?
Yeah,
No, not necessarily.
not too short. So then, you got to go up, but then you got this gap. Isn't a good way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Why do we have to go up?
You got this.
Alright, stick it there again.
So if you just go inside, you're left with that. But if you go up, then you're left with.
Well, what about there? We split the difference. We have to have this come over wide enough for this if we're doing it.
It's going to be the same thing on those. Do you go on the siding? Do you go not on the siding? Then on the window, if you don't go on the siding, then what are you
No,
realistically
you have to
attaching
go
that to?
above. Yeah. Yeah, it'll go like that.
Then you end up with the same.
Yep. That's okay. You just attach it.
Right? So go into here.
Yeah. Where's that hammer?
If you saw the other episodes, our choice to put the door and window so close together was quite unique, but there was a good reason for it because on the inside it's going to be our shower room that we're going to include walls and separate. So we wanted to put the window still on the front for added natural light, but allow a big enough room for the shower. And in doing so, we realized that putting together 2 pieces of trim board would fill that gap perfectly. And then we wouldn't have to include siding. So that's what we did. And then figuring out how to line all of this up around the door and the window, which are offset ever so slightly, was definitely a challenge. But of course, naturally, like anything we do, we just went for it. Because in the end, it's just a shed and it's okay. And no one else is really coming out here to see it except for you guys getting a little sneak peek of it here and there throughout our videos. Otherwise, no one else is out here but us, and as long as we're happy with it, that's all that matters. And making this work with the tools and resources that we had was what was most important.
Had to go grab something in the cabin, so I figured now that the clouds are rolling through a little bit, you can enjoy seeing the snow on top of the mountain. But over here, there is a little hint of daylight, blue skies. It's been a long time since we've been able to see and make out the sides of those hills. So that's like an absolute breath of fresh air that maybe today we'll get a peek at something other than clouds. Because it has been so long since we have seen like anything other than basically fog and clouds. So being able to see everything is pretty cool again. And maybe we'll be able to see the caribou walking through there. What do you think?
Maybe if we use a spotting scope.
Yeah? You know, last time when I was building and I was on the roof, I could look way over to that corner and I could see caribou moving. So if you look hard enough, where we come down on the trail, you might be able to see them walk across there. It was pretty cool. Back at it again, finishing the trim around the window. Trim around the door, well, we won't really talk a whole lot about that. It is what it is. But we're doing it. Oh yeah. Hammer. It's hammer time.
I guess it's splitting because we're using a framing nailer for finishing. They make things called finishing nailers.
Yeah, well, you know,
Not something we have.
that isn't something we have. We don't do a whole lot of finishing work. We hardly ever finish our projects. Just kidding. We do. Just they never look great. It's alright. Done is what counts. Now you get to watch us finish this window, trim it out with a framing nailer. Yeah, that is part of our problem. Hold on before you, yeah, draw that line. Wait, you gotta do it on the other side, goober. You gotta make sure. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get this piece. He's a good judge. Coming in hot. Oh no. You put it. Alright, once you got that where it needs to go, hold that board. You can drop the little piece as long as you know where to go. And I'm gonna slide up this guy. And you're gonna put him where you think he needs to go, at least up there.
Okay.
Alright.
Much better with the whoopee hoodie.
Yeah, keeps the wind off of your neck. My neck is still kind of chilly even though my hood's in the way a little bit, but it ain't perfect. Yeah, it's too far of a reach. Got brushes. Brushes, brush. Oh, our saw thing is off now. How'd our laser get off?
I don't know.
Me neither. But the laser used to go through the hole.
I don't know.
Now he goes to the side of it.
Do you want to just duplicate that one?
Sure. You're really
We definitely
great.
did our other one opposite. We went over on the top and in between on the bottom, but
Yeah, but you know what? That's what had to work with the other
yeah.
one going down. We could have made the,
Top.
and that's what had to work for the top.
Yeah, actually it did,
Yeah.
So, whatever. Replicate that one.
Yeah, well, you know, we had some interesting things to work around. So much so, what idiot would put a window right next to a door? Us. I know! Alright, well, this will need you and your jackknife that you probably don't have.
I got it now.
You do? Okay. Well, I will hand it to you once I make my line. Can't get them. Might be the difference of the saw line off, but that's okay. Oh, you need to make sure each side is perfect before you attach them. So hold that one there. Let me grab the nailer. This guy. Check him on that side. Over more, obviously. Well, I mean, like, just your board. Or, the one that was in your hand. Good? Good enough? Oh, yeah, and then the top, bottom. Do you need to lower him a little, or is he good? Really? Maybe a hair, so he covers that edge just a little. So no rain pelts in through it. Yeah. Alright. Now. Oh, your ladder's in the way of that one. This one's got that. Yep. Stick that board up. That's the ugly side.
Oh, this is probably going to be how it's stuff to attach to.
No. Once we cut it, it'll be.
Right,
Get a
if
little.
I go
Oh.
up to here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You'll leave part of this. Right? Yeah, because this guy's going beyond him.
Just duplicate that.
Need to get another board after. I don't think I can get two out of this one. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Where are you going? Nails? Ah. How you like them windows? There's something, huh? It's about to be real beautiful. Not the step. Ooh, just line it up there. I'm just holding it. You know what I'm saying? Line it up. Like, line it up.
Bring your end in a little.
That look.
Good.
There. Where's the board was the straightest. But, it's alright. I don't think you can reach. Maybe go in a little up top. How's this look? Ooh. People probably use like a level. I don't know. Going up this way. Oh, something else. Metal. Hold on this way. What?
Split the difference or just have one side off?
Kind of split the difference. Like our well, that's a crappy framing job. So if you want yours to look like that, that's precisely how you do it. You measure kind of once, then you just cut it a few times, and you're good. And you're good.